Hello, gamers, and welcome back to Gaming Safe Space. I'm your host, bringing you a deep dive into the world of gaming nostalgia. Today, we're stepping into the time machine to explore the story of Gamestation, the UK's beloved video game retailer that captured the hearts of gamers in the 90s and 2000s. From its humble beginnings to its iconic pre-owned deals and its eventual closure, this is the full retrospective of Gamestation, a shop that was more than just a store, it was a gaming community. So, grab your favorite retro controller, and let's get started. Gamestation was born in 1993 in the historic city of York, England. Founded by brothers Stephen Hill and David Hughes, it started as a single store with a simple mission: to sell new and used video games at competitive prices. At the time, the UK gaming market was booming. The 16-bit era, with consoles like the Sega Mega Drive and Super Nintendo, was in full swing, and gamers were hungry for places to buy, trade, and talk about their passion. Gamestation filled that gap perfectly. By 2002, Gamestation had grown to 64 stores across the UK, a testament to its popularity. Its early success came from a focus on customer-friendly policies, like accepting trade-ins for older consoles and games, which wasn't as common back then. Unlike bigger chains, Gamestation felt like a shop run by gamers, for gamers. The staff were often enthusiasts who could chat about the latest titles or recommend hidden gems, making every visit feel personal. In October 2002, Gamestation's trajectory changed when it was acquired by Blockbuster, the American video rental giant. This was during the peak of the PlayStation 2 era, when gaming was becoming a mainstream phenomenon. Blockbuster saw Gamestation's potential and invested heavily in an aggressive expansion plan. With Blockbuster's financial backing, Gamestation opened dozens of new stores, reaching 232 locations by November 2011. Blockbuster's strategy was to position Gamestation as a direct competitor to Game, the UK's largest video game retailer at the time. Game was known for selling new releases at full retail price, but Gamestation carved out a unique niche. It focused heavily on pre-owned games, offering massive discounts on older titles and accepting trade-ins for almost any console, from the Sega Master System to the Nintendo 64. This approach made gaming more affordable, especially for younger players or those on a budget. Gamestation's stores also had a distinct vibe. They were packed with retro consoles, accessories, and games, creating a treasure hunt atmosphere. You could walk in and find a pristine copy of a Dreamcast classic or a rare PlayStation 1 title. The chain even sold accessories for older systems, something competitors often ignored. This retro focus made Gamestation a haven for collectors and nostalgic gamers. So, what made Gamestation stand out in the crowded UK retail scene? Let's break it down. First and foremost, Gamestation was famous for its pre-owned game deals. The store's trade-in system was a game changer. Customers could bring in their old games or consoles and get store credit to buy something else. Gamestation's pricing model was clever. It used an algorithm to adjust trade-in values based on demand, ensuring they could offer competitive prices while still making a profit. This meant you could trade in a stack of games you'd finished and walk out with the latest release for a fraction of the cost. Deals like 4 for 20 or 2 for 20 on pre-owned titles were legendary, making it easy to build a collection without breaking the bank. Second, Gamestation's focus on retro gaming set it apart. While competitors like Game prioritized new consoles like the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, Gamestation stocked games and hardware for older systems, like the Sega Saturn, GameCube, and even the NES. This made it a go-to spot for collectors and retro enthusiasts, long before retro gaming became a mainstream trend. Third, Gamestation's marketing was quirky and memorable. Their Christmas promotions featured a character called Fat Chris, a playful parody of Father Christmas, advertised with the tagline, "What's half of Father Christmas? Fat Chris." It was cheeky, fun, and perfectly in tune with the gaming community's sense of humor. Finally, the staff were a huge part of Gamestation's charm. Many were passionate gamers who loved talking shop. Whether you needed help finding a specific title or wanted to debate the merits of GoldenEye 007 versus Perfect Dark, the staff made every visit feel like a conversation among friends. This community vibe was something fans still reminisce about today. Gamestation didn't exist in a vacuum. Its biggest rival was Game, the UK's dominant video game retailer. Game had more stores and a stronger focus on new releases and console bundles, but it often charged full retail price and had less emphasis on pre-owned or retro games. Gamestation's trade-in deals and retro stock gave it an edge for budget-conscious gamers and collectors, creating a fierce but healthy rivalry. Another competitor was Electronics Boutique, which later became part of Game. Electronics Boutique was popular with PC gamers in the 90s, but its focus shifted after the rebranding. Independent game stores also dotted the UK, but they struggled to match Gamestation's scale or trade-in system. Later, CEX emerged as a major player in the pre-owned market, offering cash for trade-ins and stocking a vast range of retro and modern games. CEX's rise would prove significant, but more on that later. Gamestation's ability to undercut games' prices, thanks to blockbuster subsidies and the buoyant video rental market, helped it claim the second highest market share in the UK gaming industry by the mid-2000s. For a while, it seemed unstoppable. Despite its success, storm clouds were gathering. In 2006, Blockbuster's American parent company reported massive debts of $560 million. While Gamestation itself was still profitable, Blockbuster decided to focus on its core video rental business and began selling off non-Blockbuster branded assets. This put Gamestation's future in question. In May 2007, a pivotal moment arrived. Gamestation's biggest rival, acquired the chain from Blockbuster. The move was strategic. Game wanted to prevent the American retailer GameStop from gaining a foothold in the UK market. At the time, Gamestation had 232 stores, and Game operated 377, creating a near monopoly in UK gaming retail. Initially, Game kept the Gamestation brand alive, maintaining its focus on pre-owned and retro games. But cracks soon appeared. Game's management began aligning Gamestation's pricing and policies with their own, which meant higher prices for pre-owned games and less flexibility on trade-ins. Fans noticed the shift, and the unique Gamestation vibe started to fade. The real trouble came in 2012. The Game Group, which owned both Game and Gamestation, faced severe financial difficulties. Major publishers like Nintendo, Electronic Arts, and Capcom refused to supply new titles, including Mass Effect 3 and Street Fighter X Tekken, due to concerns over Game's creditworthiness. This was a disaster, as new releases were a key revenue driver. To raise cash, Game and Gamestation began heavily discounting stock, but it wasn't enough. On March 26, 2012, the Game Group entered administration with PricewaterhouseCoopers. Overnight, 277 stores across both brands closed, including 104 Gamestation locations. The closures resulted in 2,104 job losses in the UK, and all Game stores in Ireland shut down. Gamestation's flagship store on Birmingham New Street was among those lost, a heartbreaking blow for fans. On March 31, 2012, private equity firm Op Capita purchased the Game Group out of administration, saving 334 stores and over 3,000 jobs. However, the Gamestation brand was not part of the long-term plan. On September 14, 2012, Game announced that all remaining Gamestation stores would be rebranded as Game. By November 18, 2012, the Gamestation website was shut down and redirected to game.co.uk. After 19 years, the Gamestation name was gone. The decision to phase out Gamestation was controversial. Many fans felt Game had squandered a beloved brand. Gamestation's focus on pre-owned and retro games could have been a unique selling point, especially as demand for retro gaming grew. Instead, Game closed Gamestation stores in towns where both brands operated, consolidating their presence but losing the distinct identity that made Gamestation special. The rise of CEX also played a role. CEX's business model, which offered cash for trade-ins and stocked a massive range of retro and modern games, filled the gap left by Gamestation. By 2012, CEX was expanding rapidly, and its high street presence made it a go-to for pre-owned gaming. Game's decision to prioritize new releases over pre-owned stock left them vulnerable, and CEX capitalized on the demand Gamestation once served. Gamestation may be gone, but its legacy lives on in the memories of UK gamers. For many, it was more than a shop. It was a cultural hub where friendships were forged, collections were built, and gaming passions were fueled. The trade-in deals, retro stock, and quirky atmosphere made it a standout in an era before digital downloads dominated. Fans on platforms like Reddit still share stories of their Gamestation days, from scoring amazing deals to chatting with knowledgeable staff. One former employee on Reddit described Gamestation's trade-in system as brilliant, noting how it benefited both customers and the store, even if publishers disliked it. Another fan called Gamestation king for its customer service, a sentiment echoed by many. Gamestation's closure also highlighted the challenges facing physical game retail. The shift to digital downloads, online retailers like Amazon, and subscription services like Xbox Game Pass has made high street stores less viable. Game itself has struggled, phasing out pre-owned games in 2024 and moving many stores into Sports Direct concessions under Fraser's Group, which acquired Game in 2019. Yet, Gamestation's story isn't just one of loss. It's a reminder of a time when gaming retail was about community and discovery. Its focus on affordability and retro gaming paved the way for the modern retro boom, and stores like CEX owe a debt to the path Gamestation blazed. As we close this retrospective, let's take a moment to honor Gamestation, a shop that made gaming accessible, exciting, and communal. Whether you traded in your old PlayStation games for a shiny new Xbox 360 title, hunted for a rare Sega Saturn gem, or just loved the vibe of your local store, Gamestation was a cornerstone of UK gaming culture. What are your favorite Gamestation memories? Did you score an epic trade-in deal, or find a retro classic that's still in your collection? Drop your stories in the comments below, and let's keep the nostalgia alive. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to Gaming Safe Space, and hit that bell icon for more retro gaming goodness. Until next time, keep gaming, stay safe, and let's preserve the legacy of the spaces that shaped our passion.